We have a spicy one today. Legacy Dimir Omni-Tell that sideboards into Dimir Tempo. Let's go check this one out. In front of you is Legacy Dimir Omni-Tell that comes from Combo Cabal member Velgrim. Velgrim, I really do appreciate your support over the years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And they wanted to see this spicy show and tell variant. So the idea is in game number 1, you are a show and tell deck. So for 2 and a blue, you put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land onto the battlefield. And then in this deck, it sometimes attracts a Grand Unifier or Emrakul the Aeons Torn, but most of the time you're looking to put Omniscience into the battlefield. This 10 mana value enchantment that allows you to cast cards from your hand for free. And then from there you could play Stock Up, a relatively new printing, to dig 5 cards deep, maybe hitting another Stock Up or a Ponder or a Brainstorm that eventually find your Atraxa Grand Unifiers and Emrakul the Aeons Torn in order to win the game. That's the idea. And then in the post-board games, you already have Tamiyo Inquisitive Student in your deck, so now you could just board into the Tempo deck with Brazen Borrowers, Murktide Regent, Borrowglyph, Dauthi Voidwalkers, Fatal Push, and Engineered Explosives. So your opponents are going to sideboard in a bunch of cards in order to beat a combo deck, and then you just change what the game is about and easily roll them over with Borrowglyphs. Honestly, it's quite brilliant. I don't know if this was Velgrim's idea or not. I hope that it was, because it's honestly pretty sick. And I'm looking to just play a little bit more fair Magic in the post-board games today. I think that will be fun. Hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, and all that great stuff. And a quick message is right now, over at theepicstorm.com/shop, we have 25% off all of our merchandise until January 1st. Go there and type in Storm25Save when you hit checkout. That's the discount code that will get you the savings. And, you know, support the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. But for now, we're going to hop on into match number 1, and I will see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Dimir Omni-Tell. We have won the die roll, so we'll be on the play. We have Omniscience, we have Show and Tell. What I don't have is more mana. I think we're going to try this. It's obviously a little bit risky, but we have a Brainstorm. Maybe we'll get lucky. We also, our one land is a Surveil land, so I think I like this. Let's start off by surveilling. There's land number 2. Beautiful. They play Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb, and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. What are you playing? Okay, a little bit odd. Let's cast the Brainstorm. We did not find the extra land. I'll put back Omniscience and Stock Up. We don't actually need to dig any further once we resolve a Show and Tell. And now I'll play Ponder. And there's the land. So I guess we'll put Omniscience on the bottom, keep the Fluted Delta, and we'll pass. And step they cycle a Lorien Revealed. So this might be Blue Tron with the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student in it. Theoretically, it could be the mirror match, but I sort of doubt it. And now they attack with the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student, Underground Sea, and a Brainstorm. This will transform Tamiyo to the Planeswalker side. And they did not plus the Tamiyo, so we got away with one a little bit there. I think we're going to play Stock Up and dig for Force of Will to protect the Show and Tell. We'll grab Underground Sea. I guess I could also find Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize plus land would be decent. Stock Up. I did not find that. We'll take Ancient Tomb and sink in a Stupor. Pass the turn. And step the lose 2 life to draw a card off the Clue token. They play Flooded Strand. Now they plus the Tamiyo. They have 6 cards in their hand. They play a Ponder. You normally don't see Tamiyo or cantrips in Blue Tron, so I don't think it's Blue Tron. I'm just not exactly sure what it is. We find our own Tamiyo. Let's play Brainstorm. And we find Thoughtseize. We don't need 2 copies of Emrakul, so I'll put that back. And maybe sink in a Stupor. Play the Ancient Tomb. And let's try a Thoughtseize. We are playing the mirror match. We'll take the Force of Will. Yeah, okay. Show and Tell. How crazy is that? I mean, our opponent's obviously on a different build, but it is the mirror match. And now we'll put Emrakul into play. Sweet. So I think we're actually supposed to board into Tempo in this matchup. So we'll bring in Brazen Borrower, Murktide Regent. I don't need the Fatal Push, Gothy Voidwalker, Borrowgoyfs. Or maybe we do a partial Juke, because I don't want my whole sideboard. I only want some of it. So if I was to do the Juke, we would board out Atraxa, Emrakul, Omniscience, and then Show and Tells, and I would need 3 more cards. I don't think... I mean, I guess they have Tamiyo, so I could board in the Fatal Pushes. I think I'm down to at least try this for a game, and if I don't like it, I can sideboard back into being a combo deck. Our opponent has kept 7. Do we keep Double Thoughtseize 5 lands? I don't know. We're going to mulligan. I think it's close. I probably would have kept 4 lands, but I think 5 is probably too much. We'll keep and get rid of the Lotus Petal. A much better hand in my opinion. They have Scalding Tarn, and now they fetch for Underground Sea and Tamiyo. I will allow Tamiyo to resolve. If we find another Thoughtseize, I'll play my own Tamiyo. Pass the turn. They swing. Ouch. No blocks. They play a Ponder. They did not shuffle. They play Polluted Delta. And now they fetch. Another copy of Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. I'm going to allow this to resolve. I could force it. I just don't think it's a good idea. So if I force it, I lose the stock up. They probably take stock up anyway. And this way, if I draw a blue card, I have Force of Will protection. I guess we'll play Thoughtseize. They have 4 cards in hand. So if I don't take the Show and Tell, I could be dead next turn if their top card is Omniscience. But I want to take the stock up. I think I just have to take the Show and Tell here. And then we'll attack and create a clue. Pass the turn. They swing. They play the Polluted Delta. And they should... Whoops, I didn't mean to cross off the Cunning Wish there. They still have that in hand. And I would expect that they cast the stock up here. And they do. Alright, so I'm going to close this window. We know that they still have Cunning Wish in hand. Okay. We find another Force of Will. We'll play our Ancient Tomb, go to combat, swing, and then let's play the Thoughtseize. Make sure that I don't die. They're going to Force of Will pitching Tamiyo. I'd like to draw a card off a clue token. We draw a Lotus Petal. I'm going to allow the Force of Will to be countered. That's fine with me. And then I think we would like to transform the Tamiyo here. So I will crack the other clue token. Tamiyo transforms. I'll plus the Tamiyo. And we'll pass. So now my Tamiyo will ultimate before theirs does. They attack my Tamiyo, but it gets -1, -0, so it's a -1 power. They have 3 clue tokens. They brainstorm. I'm ahead, so I'm going to let this happen. I could Force a Will it. I just don't think that's right. Maybe I'm wrong. But my Tamiyo would ultimate first, and I think that's ultimately what matters here. Borrowgoyf, I'll plus. And let's play Borrowgoyf. Pass the turn. They can draw with a clue token on the end step. They do. They have 5 cards in hand. They could minus the Tamiyo right now and get back to Show and Tell. That's a possibility. And they do. They Show and Tell. I will play Force of Will. They have 5 in hand. Thoughtseize was a good draw. We'll cast that. Take the Omniscience. Plus the Tamiyo. Do I attack them or do I attack the Tamiyo that doesn't matter anymore? I probably kill the... They have 2 more Tamiyos in their hand. I'll attack them. Maybe it's the wrong choice. I don't know. So now Borrowgoyf triggers. I'll say yes. Return Brazen Borrower. And we'll pass the turn. They draw with the clue token. And Brainstorm. We won. A little bit of combo. A little bit of tempo. Got the job done. Velgrim might be onto something. We're 1-0 in this Legacy League. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Let's try that again in match number 2 on the play. This seems fantastic. We will keep. So an interesting thing about this hand, you could play a turn 1 Undercity Sewers, That would give you 2 mana on turn 2 to play Tamiyo Inquisitive Student into Brainstorm. Or you could play Polluted Delta, Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Turn 2 Brainstorm, and then surveil away the card, or whatever card you don't want. I think I prefer playing Tamiyo first. That way I get a clue token, and I don't know. It just makes more sense to me. We'll grab the basic island and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. They're going to force will Tamiyo. I think I'll let that go. I don't think that's a big deal to me. They have 3 cards in their hand, and they're going to pass with 4 cards in their hand now. Let's play Brainstorm. Well, that was less than ideal. We will surveil away Underground Sea. Pass the turn. They play Ancient Tomb. 4 cards in their hand. We'll play Ancient Tomb and a Lotus Petal in case I would like to hardcast the Force of Will. And we'll pass. We're just in a waiting room for something to do with Omniscience. They play a Mox Opal, 4 cards in their hand. Well, that's something to do with Omniscience. Show and Tell. The Force of Negation. Am I crazy if I just let this go? I think I'm going to let it go. And then we'll try again next turn. So if I Force of Will pitching Show and Tell, and then I lose the fight, I am stuck with Omniscience Emrakul. And next turn I can just try Show and Tell again, and then put in Omniscience. And if they do have a Force, I can just do the thing. We'll try Show and Tell. Put in the Omniscience. Emrakul the Aeons Torn. I get an extra turn trigger. And they concede. Okay. So, is this a matchup where I would like to sideboard into the Juke? I think so. So, I'm going to grab the whole sideboard and put it into the main deck. We'll sideboard out Show and Tells, Omniscience, Atraxa Unifier, Emrakul the Aeons Torn. That puts me at 63. I wonder if I can sideboard out Lotus Petals. Yeah, we'll board down on Lotus Petal. I think that's the move. Well, this is a hand we will keep. I do need a second black mana for Dauthi Voidwalker, but I think this hand is pretty good. They just play Seat of the Synod and pass the turn. We draw Bloodstained Mire. Let's play Underground Sea and Thoughtseize. They have 6 cards in their hand. They Flusterstorm. Sure. My Thoughtseize has been countered. They play Mishra's Bauble and a second copy of Seat of the Synod, Mox Opal. 3 cards in hand, Thoughtcast. Am I supposed to counter this? I don't think so. I'm going to let it happen. Another Thoughtcast. That's kind of brutal. They're back up to 5 cards. And now they play a Memory Guardian. My Fatal Push does not kill that. I think I'm going to let it resolve. Maybe I'm letting too many things resolve here. And now they use Mishra's Bauble. Fatal Push cannot kill this, so my answer would be like a Murktide Regent. And there it is. Wow. Okay, so we'll fetch and play the Dauthi Voidwalker. Here we go. Pass the turn. They play Pinnacle Emissary. I think I'm supposed to Force of Will this one. They have 5 cards in their hand. Pinnacle Emissary was countered. They play Ancient Tomb and another Memory Guardian. Haywire Might, sure, I don't care about that. They have 2 cards remaining. They swing, ouch. So, in theory, I could force a Murktide Regent here. I could Surveil, hopefully hitting a spell, and then have a 6/6 flyer. I think that's probably the move. We'll grab Undercity Sewers, Surveil, spell? Not a spell. Okay, I think I'm priced into making a 5/5 flyer here. Murktide Regent. That resolved, and now I will attack with my Dauthi Voidwalker. They're at 17, I'll pass. They sink in a stupor, that's backbreaking here. Oh no. Okay, I'm taking 7 down to 7. Am I have an empty graveyard? I don't know what to do. I could Dauthi Voidwalker, sink in a stupor, and bounce a Memory Guardian, but that's not great. I could Pinnacle Emissary and then play Lotus Petal for a blocker, but it's my only artifact in the whole deck. Just the one. I think they got me. So the question becomes, am I supposed to board back into the Juke? Because honestly, losing to Pinnacle Emissary and Memory Guardian doesn't seem great to me. So maybe I do play the combo game. And we'll get rid of the fair tempo strategy. I kind of like the Barrowglyphs though, won't lie. Maybe we want the Engineered Explosives. Is a partial Juke acceptable? That's another question. Like, what if I just did Barrowglyph and Murktide Regent? Take out the Lotus Petals. So then I would need 2 more cuts. Okay, I think I'll board out Murktide Regent, and I'll just keep in Barrowglyph. We'll try this. On the play for game 3. If only we had another land. This hand would be incredible. Like, give this hand a fetch land instead of ponder all day. I think I am forced to mulligan. Things are not looking great. We'll go to 5. Keep, get rid of Sink into Stupor, and Force of Will. Okay, so I'm going to play Ponder first. I could Thoughtseize, but they're a deck that draws a bunch of cards, so I think I'd like to hold the Thoughtseize for a little bit. We'll keep this. Leave the Underground Sea on top. Pass the turn. They play Seat of the Synod, Lotus Petal, Emery Lurker of the Lock. They mill over a Force of Negation, that's good. Play the Polluted Delta. Let's try Thoughtseize. Double Force of Will. Oh, that's annoying. We'll take one of them. Pass the turn. They play Urza's Saga. They use the Emery on Mox Opal. They play Mox Opal. And Pinnacle Emissary. I think my top card is another Show and Tell. So I'm going to keep it, and then we'll just slam back-to-back Show and Tells. I was planning on surveilling, but seeing the second Force of Will, I think we just play Show and Tell twice. Show and Tell. We know that they have Force of Will, Memory Guardian, and then one unknown card. They Force of Will pitching the Memory Guardian. Okay. We will pass. They draw for turn, so now they have 2 unknown cards. Urza's Saga goes to the second chapter. They can play a Memory Guardian from their graveyard using the Emery. They play a Mishra's Bauble, and they use it. So they're probably going to use the Emery on Mishra's Bauble so that way they can draw more cards. And that's exactly what they do here. They play another Urza's Saga. I might just lose to the Sagas because the Atraxa doesn't attack through the drone tokens. So I think the Urza's Saga constructs will actually beat me. So now they'll draw 2 cards off of Mishra's Bauble. And I will just cast the Show and Tell. We need this to resolve to stand a chance. And it does resolve. We'll put in Atraxa Grand Unifier. They put in an Ancient Tomb. Atraxa triggers. Okay. We'll take Omniscience. That's kind of free. Borrowglyph can trade with an Urza's Saga construct and gain life. We'll take a Force of Will. And then stock up. Pass the turn. They make a giant construct that I'm not realistically allowed to block. I guess if they have like a, what is it called? Lava Spur Boots? I would be forced to block a construct this turn and trade my Atraxa. That would not be good. They have Sink in a Stupor. I will Force of Will. Exile Brainstorm. One of the few ways I could win this is if I draw Show and Tell number 3. It's kind of unlikely, but there's a reality in which it happens. So that is what I'm playing towards here. That is why I exiled the Brainstorm and not the stock up. In response to my Force of Will, they make another construct token. Okay. Once again, I probably lose this game to Lava Spur Boots if they have one. Because I'd be forced to block a construct token. And then I'd have to draw essentially a 2 of. There's 2 remaining Show and Tells. Where if they don't have Lava Spur Boots, I get an extra turn. And they do. Okay, so I guess we're praying for our top card to be perfect. They equip the new construct token, and now they'll play a Mishra's Bauble, and this will create a drone. Am I dead even with the block? So if I block the 11 power, I go up to 19, and then they could still send in a bunch, but that's not quite lethal. So if I were to block the Pinnacle Emissary, I would go up to 19, and then they still have lethal. So I have to block the largest construct and just hope that my top card is Show and Tell. Okay, please be there. Pretty please? Nope. There's no world in which I live here. So I could play the Borrowglyph and trade with another construct, but they get to make another construct on their turn and then give it haste. So we have lost. Unfortunate. So we took a loss to 8 cast, but we're still 1-1. Let's go win match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3 on the play. Sure, I mean, we're a Show and Tell short. We have protection and Thoughtseize. I think that this hand is fine. Our opponent with a mulligan to 5. I might lead on Lotus Petal Thoughtseize to just make sure that I don't die to Oops All spells. But let's ponder first and see if I find Force of Will. That might change things. Island, ponder. We did find Force of Will and the Bloodstained Mire. Alright, I am not going to play the Thoughtseize. I'm going to wait a turn. We'll pass. If they opened up on a 5-card hand that kills me through a Force of Will, congratulations. They lead on Polluted Delta for Underground Sea. Careful study. Okay, so they're on Reanimator. They discard Gristlebrand and a land. We'll play the Bloodstained Mire. Try Brainstorm. Get rid of 2 Lotus Petals. We'll play out 1. Fetch. Probably grabbing the basic Swamp here. And then Thoughtseize. We'll take the Animate Dead. Pass the turn. They play Flooded Strand. Ponder. They fetch with Flooded Strand. Underground Sea. Careful study. Okay, I no longer know any cards in their hand. Archon of Cruelty and Atraxa Unifier. They have 2 cards remaining. We find another stock up. Okay. We'll fetch down to 16. Grab Underground Sea. And let's play stock up. Stocks are high. Okay, I think it's Omniscience Brainstorm. Somewhat tempted by the Ancient Tomb holding another stock up, but I think you just take the cards. We're likely to draw a land at some point. 2 mana here for an Animate Dead. I will Force of Will pitching Omniscience. They have Force of Will backup. No way. Oh no. What a hand. We'll Brainstorm. Have to find Force of Will. We did not find Force of Will. Just insane. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Yeah, there's no world in which I win this anymore. I'm going to just concede. Ah, bummer. I felt like I was in the driver's seat that game too. So I think we want the Dauthi Voidwalkers. I'm not convinced I'm supposed to sideboard into the Tempo deck here. Board out a couple copies of Lotus Petal and we'll try this. Game number 2, we're on the play. Sure, we'll try it. Keep. I'll play Scalding Tarn and then we're going to grab Underground Sea and play Thoughtseize. Target you. Well, that's a hand. Oh my. I think we take the Animate Dead. And then pass the turn. They play Undercity Sewers. They kept a card on top. If it's Reanimate, I will cry myself to sleep. Force of Will is a good draw. Let's play Brainstorm. Another Thoughtseize. I think we're actually supposed to get rid of the Emrakul here and just like start playing towards a longer game. But if I Thoughtseize them right now, I'd be taking a Force of Will. I wonder how good that is. Probably fine, just because I think it means that if they do draw into something, my Force will resolve. So I think I'm supposed to Thoughtseize here. So they found land number 2. We'll take Force of Will. Like, their hand is strangely resilient here. Also, the fact that they have Unmasked, they might be able to fight through my Force of Will anyway. They fetch. What I really need is like a Dauthi Voidwalker. But there's only 2 of them in this deck. They unmask me. Okay. And they exile the Archon of Cruelty. Interesting. So I know that they have Unmask and Force of Will in their hand. Well, that's a good draw. Play the Ancient Tomb. Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. Pass. I could ponder looking to cycle into another blue card, but I'd rather not risk it. Plus, theoretically, I could use the ponder to transform Tamiyo next turn. Let's attack with the Tamiyo. We get to investigate. And now we'll draw off the clue token. Atraxa Unifier. Play Thoughtseize. I'd like to see that hand again. Thoughtseize Reanimate Force of Will. I think it just has to be the Reanimate. And then we'll ponder, which will transform Tamiyo. I think I'm supposed to hide the Show and Tell. We'll take the land. Tamiyo transforms. We'll plus the Tamiyo. Play the island. Pass the turn. They drew Brainstorm. That's good for them. Bloodstained Mire. And Thoughtseize. They take my Atraxa. Well, they can reanimate my Atraxa. That's not good. I just remembered that. So we're drawing Show and Tell. I think I'm going to downtick the Tamiyo here, and I'm going to grab Stock Up. I'll go to 8, we'll play Stock Up. They have no hand. So if their top card is another Reanimate effect, I would lose. I know my next card is a dead land. I think I'm going to force back. Alright, Show and Tell has been exiled. We no longer know any cards in their hand. Stock Up on the stack. We'll take Emrakul Ponder, and then play the Ponder. Do I even want this? I don't think so. Like, Dothy is an okay card, but there's already an Atraxa in the graveyard. So I will shuffle, play Scalding Tarn, pass. They don't have another Surveil land, apparently. Okay. It looks like they're passing through the turn. They did not draw a reanimate effect. We'll go grab our Undercity Sewers. I'm at 6. So this Ancient Tomb is not going to be live forever. Okay. Plus the Tamiyo. Pass the turn. Wait, actually, it's too late. I should have played out the Lotus Petal. Because if they play a Thoughtseize, it discards the Emrakul that shuffles the Atraxa back in. And they're passing. Okay. Let's play Brainstorm. Well, I find a Show and Tell. The question is, do they have a large creature in their hand? And is that something I want to risk? Is them having a large creature? Tough decision here. I'm going to put back the Emrakul, I think. And then I will minus the Tamiyo, which will kill it, to return stock up. Play Polluted Delta. I'll shuffle away the Emrakul. Grab Undercity Sewers. No, I don't want Underground Sea. And then I will play stock up. We'll take Emrakul, Show and Tell. And I guess I'm sort of back where I was, but I was hoping to find an Omniscience. They have Animate Dead. I will play Force of Will. Pitching Show and Tell. Okay. Alright. Against better judgment, I'm going to just slam the Show and Tell here. Emrakul the Aeons Torn. Will I be conceding? Yikes. Okay, well, they had the large creature. We're probably dead. Unfortunate. I guess there's a world in which we win if they can't put an Archon of Cruelty into play. So I'm not going to concede. I mean, odds are they can put an Archon of Cruelty into play. Don't get me wrong. But I think I'm supposed to just make sure that they can. They're going to 1. And now they ponder. And they shuffle off Ponder. And now another Ponder. So you're saying there's a chance here. They shuffled on Ponder. Okay. And I thought about conceding for a second, then I decided to make them go through it. They play Underground Sea. Oh, they have Dark Ritual in their deck. Okay, so maybe I'm not safe. Alright, yeah, I'm not safe. I thought with 2 mana left that I would be okay, but I didn't know that they were playing Dark Rituals. Or that they would keep them in versus Omni. They discarded 2 lands. Wow. So they did not find a large creature. And now they're going to Animate Dead on Atraxa. Okay. They found another Dark Ritual and Barrogoyf. They chose Unmask, Dark Ritual, Barrogoyf off of the Atraxa. They unmask, sure. So I think Dark Ritual Barrogoyf might kill me because they could sacrifice the Atraxa and the Animate Dead and then block with Gristlebrand and swing back with Barrogoyf. So I think that beats me, assuming they do everything correctly. So 4 lands, Animate Dead, Atraxa, block with Gristlebrand, attack back with the Barrogoyf. So like a Tamiyo would be good for me because they can't Forcible right now. And then Tamiyo would block the Barrogoyf. I have 3 Tamiyos in the deck. We'll draw. Well, I'm not going to cast that. Let's make sure that they do everything correctly, I suppose. So they have to annihilate 6. Yeah, they get to do both Atraxa and Animate Dead. Yep, our opponent sees the line. Unfortunate. So now they can block with the Gristlebrand. And I am dead to the onboard Barrogoyf. Okay. Bummer. So we lost. We're now 1-2. After the hot start, I am less confident in the sideboard, I think. Only having 2 Dothies versus a format that has a lot of Reanimator, maybe that's not the best idea. And Fatal Push not hitting large creatures feels a little awkward to me, and the deck not having anything else to deal with large creatures. It's just a thought. I could be entirely wrong. But that's at least my impression right now. Let's see how we do in match number 4. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We are back for the 4th match. On the draw, I will keep. We need to find Show and Tell. Our opponent plays Meticulous Archive. And they surveil away Force of Will. Okay. The confidence there. We'll play Bloodstained Mire and pass the turn. Basic Island, Ponder. I'll fetch with the Bloodstained Mire. We'll grab Undercity Sewers. And I would really like to find Ancient Tomb. That would be my best find here. Thoughtseize, I think we'll keep that. I do need another land in order to cast this stock up, so on their end step, I will surveil again, looking for land number 3. Thoughtseize on the stack. They have 6 cards in their hand, and they're a Beanstalk control deck. We'll take the Force of Will, and then pass the turn. So, I could Force of Will up the Beanstalk. I get that. I am not going to. If I end up losing the game to them drawing a million cards, that's fine, but I think I should just focus on what I'm trying to do here. We'll fetch, grab Undercity Sewers. I am concerned that they're a Leyline Binding deck versus my Show and Tell Omniscience deck, and we are not a deck that wins at instant speed. So I think maybe I'm supposed to board into the creature pivot post board. We find the 3rd land. We'll play the island, and let's try a stock up. They didn't play Ponder last turn, so they're going to brainstorm in response. We'll allow that to happen. And it resolves. Ooh, Thoughtseize, Show and Tell. Yeah, I mean, I can check for Leyline Binding and then Show and Tell win. I like that. I do need a 4th land, though. So hopefully we find that. They play a Savannah. And the other up the Beanstalk. I could Force a Will this. I think I will. Just so that way they don't dig as many cards deep. Because I'm trying to keep them off of Leyline Binding here. Quantum Riddler. Okay. So they'll draw another card when this enters, so they got to draw 2. I really need a land or a Lotus Petal here. They have 5 cards in their hand. There we go. Play Thoughtseize. We'll take the Solitude. Play Ancient Tomb. Show and Tell. Put in Omniscience. And we'll cast the Atraxa Grand Unifier. It enters and triggers. We'll take Stock Up, Brainstorm, Lotus Petal, Polluted Delta, and Omniscience. Okay, and then we'll play Brainstorm for free. Get rid of Polluted Delta and Lotus Petal. And then we'll cast Stock Up, grab Stock Up and a Lotus Petal. We'll play Stock Up, take Ponder, Brainstorm, and then we'll cast the Emrakul the Aeons Torn, play out the Lotus Petal, and the opponent concedes. Nice. I won't lie, I don't love the idea of boarding into the Tempo plan versus Beanstalk, so I think I'm going to just rely on Thoughtseize clearing the way. I am interested in at least 1 Engineered Explosives. We'll get rid of Lotus Petal. But I think I like Brazen Borrower to bounce Leyline Binding, boarding out more Lotus Petals. Could also use Consign to Memory. Okay, let's give this a go. This seems fine to me. Keep. They lead on a Hedge Maze, and they surveil away Swords to Plowshares. Let's see if I can punish them with this Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. We'll play Sink in a Stupor as a land. Ouch. Tamiyo. They have 6 cards in their hand. Tamiyo resolves. They play Misty Rainforest for turn and activate for Tundra. Another Swords to Plowshares. And we draw another Tamiyo. Let's play it. We'll play the Undercity Sewers, Surveil. I think we keep the Consign to Memory. That way we can beat Leyline Binding. End step they cast Brainstorm. They play an island, 5 cards in their hand. Up the Beanstalk. They're back at 5 cards. And they try to cast a spell and then stopped. So I'm guessing it's Leyline Binding and they realized they didn't have all 5 colors, but I could be wrong. We'll go to combat and attack with the Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. We'll investigate, which means we create a clue. I'll play the Ancient Tomb and attempt a stock up. So if I save the clue for next turn, I can transform the Tamiyo, which is my thought. We'll take Thoughtseize and Ponder, and then I'll Ponder. That's pretty good. Alright, so I think we're going to attempt to win next turn. Another up the Beanstalk. I'm going to allow that to resolve. I think I have enough interaction in my hand where I should be able to fight through that. And if not, Tamiyo gets the job done. They Solitude pitching Leyline Binding. Okay, we're going to let the Tamiyo go. The Solitude just replaced itself here with the Up the Beanstalk. They have 6 cards in their hand. We'll play Thoughtseize. They Force a Will pitching Meddling Mage. I will Force a Will back pitching Consign to Memory. They Force a Will pitching Lavinia. So if I lose this game, I need to bring in my Fatal Pushes. We've seen Lavinia and Meddling Mage, and they just drew 4 cards. Maybe I made the wrong choice letting the Beanstalk resolve. We'll play Show and Tell. Put in Omniscience. If they have Leyline Binding, we lose. And they do. Alright. Made a wrong judgment call. Let's try to win game 3. They left in a lot of creature removal, by the way. A lot. So I think I want the Fatal Pushes. We'll get rid of Engineered Explosives. It's just kind of slow. Not sure what else to sideboard out here. Maybe I just don't have the Brazen Borrowers, but that doesn't make sense versus Leyline Binding. Maybe I don't want the Borrowers to begin with. And then I'll bring in the other Consigned Memory. And we'll cut the City of Traders versus a slower blue deck. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but this is what I'm doing. We will keep. I think I will fire off the Thoughtseize on turn 1. You could hold it for the combo turn, but I'm not even near comboing, so I think you're supposed to just play it. Carpet of Flowers, Consigned Memory, Force of Negation, Leyline Binding. We'll take the Leyline Binding. Pass the turn. They play Misty Rainforest. I don't even think they're a deck that leverages Carpet of Flowers well, so I think I'm okay with them having it. Sure. And they pass the turn. We draw another Polluted Delta. I would like to Brainstorm. That wasn't bad. We'll put back Undercity Sewers and the Swamp. Pass back. Carpet of Flowers. And they have a Lavinia. Sure. They play Xander's Lounge. We'll fetch. Grab the Undercity Sewers. Keep Show and Tell. We know that they have Force of Negation, so I don't really want to play that card quite yet. And now I'll fetch the Swamp and play Stock Up. They let it go. I think it's supposed to be Tamiyo here. And the Consigned Memory. I'll pass. They make 2 white with the Carpet of Flowers. This allows them to main phase the Thelia, but I'm not convinced that's like a play that really matters either. They attack. They play Meticulous Archive with 3 cards in their hand. I did sideboard in 3 Fatal Push. Those are cards that I'm interested in finding. They surveil away Solitude. Interesting spot. We know that they only have 3 cards, so I can try to get them to Force of Negation this Show and Tell. And they do. So now they have 1 card. And I'll pass back. They make 2 green for an Up the Beanstalk. Now they're back up to 2 cards. They swing. I'll go to 10. Oh, they can blink the Up the Beanstalk. That's cute. And now they'll draw another card. Okay, that's pretty good. You draw Thoughtseize. But if I want to protect my thing, I have to wait a turn. And then they would actually draw 2 more cards. So if I had cycled the Lorien Revealed last turn, I'd be in a better spot. But then I wouldn't have drawn the Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to just jam. I suppose I'll cycle the Lorien Revealed. Let's just do the right thing first. You know what? No, I'll Thoughtseize, because then next turn I can Consign to Memory and protect from Leyline Binding. I think it's better to wait. The Force of Negation. I'll play the Tamiyo and pass. So they draw off they draw for turn. Carpet of Flowers triggers. They get a ton of mana here. And now they swing. They're going to blink up the Beanstalk again. I think I just have to let this happen. We'll go to blocks. I'll block the Lavinia. I'm at 7. And now they'll draw a card off up the Beanstalk again. They have 4 cards in their hand. Okay. Let's try Show and Tell. Okay, Swords to Plowshares, Tamiyo in response. Okay. Are you building Storm for a Flusterstorm? Is that why you're doing this? That is why they're doing it. Okay. Consigned to Memory does not save me here. I would have needed another land. I cannot pay. I'll Brainstorm. That doesn't really help me, so we'll surveil away the extra Omniscience. Next turn I'll draw the Consigned to Memory, and then I have to Brainstorm into the remaining Show and Tell. They play a land, 2 cards. They get to blink the Up the Beanstalk again. And I go to 1. Alright, so they draw off the Up the Beanstalk on my end step. They're at 3 cards in hand. It needs to be a Show and Tell on top of our deck, or like double Fatal Push. And that doesn't do it. So, another match lost. I feel like I really liked the idea of having the Sideboard Juke, but it almost feels like we're playing a deck without a sideboard. In hindsight, I don't think it's as effective as it looks. I might just be wrong. But our opponents have had Solitudes and Swords and Leyline Bindings. Like, I don't think that's would have been good here. I don't think it would have been good in the previous matchups either. So we're 1-3. Things aren't looking so great, but maybe we'll get match number 5. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. The final round of this Legacy League. I will keep this hand and we'll find out what our opponent's playing. I honestly have no clue. Polluted Delta, they fetch, Basic Island, and Ponder. So I'm going to mention it one more time because people do skip the deck text. Right now we have a sale over at theepicstorm.com/shop where code STORM25SAVE gets you 25% off all the Epic Storm merchandise. That is things that ship from the shop to you. So token packs, for example, or stickers, whatever. So if you're interested in a token pack, they're never going to be cheaper than they are right now. So definitely go check that out. We're going to play Polluted Delta and fetch for an Underground Sea and then cast Thoughtseize. Okay, that's a hand. I think we take the Force of Will and pass the turn. Little surprised they didn't daze that. They play the Polluted Delta, and now they fetch Underground Sea and then Brainstorm. Interesting way to do that. I think I would rather see the same card that I know that I don't want and have a guaranteed shuffle rather than potentially being priced into using my Ponder to shuffle my deck. I don't know if I love that sequencing, but, you know, I'm not the one on their side of the table. We find an Emrakul, the Aeons Torn. I'll Brainstorm now where I can't be hit by Orcish Bowmasters. Get rid of the Spare Omniscience and the Sink into Stupor. And then let's Thoughtseize again. If they'd like to daze it, I think I'm okay with that. They let it go. They do have an Orcish Bowmasters. And they have a new card from Avatar The Last Airbender, Wan Shi Tong Librarian. It's a Flying Flash Vigilance for X blue, and it's a 1/1. Whenever enters, put X +1/+1 counters on it, and then draw half of X rounded down. And then whenever I search my library, they get a +1/+1 counter on it, and they draw a card. I think it's the Daze. I could be wrong, but that's my hunch right now. They played the Bloodstained Mire. So they have Ponder, Washi Tong, and Orcish Bowmasters. We find City of Traders. I'll attempt to Ponder, and they're going to Orcish Bowmasters, which I expected. That allows me to Scalding Tarn, and they don't draw a card off the Owl. We'll shuffle this. I don't need any of that. And we ripped Show and Tell. Would I like to disrespect my opponent here? So why did they not play the Ponder is the question. Were they going to flash in the Owl, or did they draw Force of Will? I think I'm going to Show and Tell here, because if they drew Interaction, I can Force Will pitching the Omniscience, and then put in Emrakul. They're going to fetch in response. They drew Brainstorm. I know both cards in their hand here, so I'm going to Force of Will the Brainstorm, because that way they can't Brainstorm into Force of Will plus Daze. And I'll put in the Emrakul, the Aeons Torn. Okay, go. They play Ponder. Alright, we win a game. Would I rather be Tempo here or Combo? We'll try the Tempo game plan. I'm not convinced it's actually right here, but I'm down to give it a go. Alright, so we'll board out Emrakul, the Aeons Torn, Atraxa Unifier, Omniscience, Show and Tell, and then one Lotus Petal. I don't think you want Consign to Memory versus them. We'll try this. They kept 7, so will we. They play an Undercity Sewers. We draw another land. Let's Ponder. I would like to keep all of this. Draw the Force of Will. Pass the turn. They play Brainstorm, Polluted Delta, and they're passing 6 cards in their hand. We'll play Scalding Tarn, and I'd like to play Brainstorm now before they can potentially flash in an Orcish Bowmasters. I'll get rid of the City of Traders and Underground Sea. We'll fetch, grab Underground Sea, and then play Thoughtseize. They fetch in response, and Brainstorm. I'm going to allow that to happen. They're not a deck where I'm really concerned with one crucial spell, so forcing a Brainstorm just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because even if they protect a good card, their whole deck is high quality cards because they're a fair deck. So I just don't think that strategy works in this matchup. And they end up dazing, that's fine. Pass. They play a Wasteland, that's fine with me. Goodbye to my Underground Sea. They have 6 cards in their hand. We draw a Brazen Borrower. I think I'm going to play the Swamp and Tamiyo. So I could look for a window to Brainstorm with the Tamiyo, I get that. But I think I'd like to wait a turn to do so. I don't think our opponent left in Fatal Push. So if you think they did, I would play the Polluted Delta. But I don't want to just like Brainstorm Tamiyo and play into something. So that's my thought process. I could be wrong. Another reason I want to wait is that I'll get the polluted delta fetch equity as well, instead of just like redrawing the same cards and potentially losing to a daze. They brainstorm. They play that polluted delta again. Feed the cycle. I've never seen that card before. Okay. They have 5 cards. I guess I'm punished for playing out the swamp here. I did not think they would have removal. So I could Force of Will, or I could let it go. I think I'm going to let it go. They have 5 in hand. Well, that was pretty good. We'll play the Tamiyo. And I guess I'll just main phase the Brainstorm because I didn't learn my lesson last turn. At least now we're not playing into days. We'll hide Lotus Petal because I want to surveil that away. And then Barrogoyf on top because I guess, hold on. If I go Lotus Petal Barrogoyf next turn, it doesn't lose to days, but maybe I should just play a little bit more slowly. That's probably the move. Tamiyo transforms. We'll plus the Tamiyo. Pass the turn. They have another Feed the Cycle. I think I'm going to attempt to fight here. I will Force of Will. And they Force of Will back. Okay, they're down to 2 cards that my Tamiyo is going to die. I will now play the Undercity Sewers on my turn and get rid of that Lotus Petal. And I'm not going to play the Barrogoyf because once again, I am unwilling to lose to days. The Lotus Petal to the graveyard will pass. They fetch with the Polluted Delta. 2 cards in their hand, they're about to drop to 3. They play a land. Another Barrogoyf, wow. Let's party. They flash in Orcish Bowmasters, I don't care. You have an Orcish Bowmasters. Gilded Drake. Oh my. Oh my. I guess they just stole my Barrogoyf. What is this world coming to? We have another Fatal Push. We'll play the other Barrogoyf. If they have a second Gilded Drake, I'm going to lose my mind. We'll attack for 3 in the air. I cannot kill the Barrogoyf because I don't have a Revolt. They swing. No blocks. And now the Barrogoyf triggers. They hit Barrogoyf and excuse me. Barrogoyf and Nethergoyf. Pretty insane here. Also, they left in Fatal Pushes. Did I board wrong? Like boarding into the Tempo plan? Our opponent actually has a lot of removal in their deck. And now they can play their own Barrogoyf. Yeah. I need to draw a fetch land. Sink in a Stupor. So that bounces my own Barrogoyf here. And I'm pretty sure that gives me Revolt too. So we'll bounce the Barrogoyf. And then kill their Barrogoyf because of a Revolt. Go to combat. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that should have triggered Revolt. What? I think I must have messed that up. I thought that it would trigger Revolt because it's not whenever something goes to the graveyard, it's when it leaves the battlefield. Under your control. Okay, so I guess I needed to read a little bit more closely. That might have just cost me this game. I'll attack for 3. Wish I would have read a little bit more closely there. We're going to trade Barrogoyfs. They're at 21, I'm at 16. I think they have the inevitability here because they have double Nethergoyf in the graveyard. They choose to not do anything. I drew Polluted Delta, so that can turn on the Revolt eventually. I'll play the Barrogoyf. Attack for 3 in the air. A little surprised they didn't put the Nethergoyf into play. I don't think you can do it in instant speed, so I'm not sure what they decided to wait for. With 4 card types, do they not have 4 card types? They have creature, instant, land. They don't have 4 card types. That is why. Okay. They only have 3 card types. Do I want to cast Lorien Revealed into Orcish Bowmasters? I don't think so. We'll swing. They block the Barrogoyf. I'll pass. And now they have 4 card types, so they could bring back the Nethergoyf now. They did not shuffle with the Ponder. Ancient Tomb. We'll swing. They fetch in response. This is Washi Tong. I think I can Fatal Push this and then it doesn't draw anything. Probably should have fetched first to make sure I had the Revolt. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Will. Okay. So they got to draw 3 cards. Right, hold on. They got 3 counters, but they drew 1 card. Okay. They're going to block the Barrogoyf. They could have eaten the Gilded Drake and didn't. I'll play Ancient Tomb. And we'll cast Lorien Revealed. We will pass the turn. They have Brazen Borrower. So they can steal my Barrogoyf again. Wow. Insane draw. I only have 1 Fatal Push left in my deck. Yeah, they stole my Barrogoyf for a second time. That is devastating. They played another Wasteland. Wow, another Murktide Regent. Okay. So let's play Murktide Regent. It's a 7/7. We'll fetch. They'll get to draw a card here off the Wan Shi Tong. So it's going to become a 5/5. But I think it's worth it in order to play the other Murktide Regent. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll exile the Lotus Petal so that way the Barrowglyph shrinks. The first Murktide will get larger. Okay. What a game. I feel really dumb for throwing away a Fatal Push, though. We'll pass the turn. It also explains why our opponent didn't block the Gilded Drake after they drew with the card. When I said, oh, they could have blocked there. The fact that they drew Brazen Borrower was a sign that I did not read. They're going to attack with the Barrowglyph. I'll block with the Gilded Drake. This way they don't get to return a creature. They do go up to 15, though. They Thoughtseize and see double Ponder. They're at 13. They're going to Wasteland me, sure. I drew Undercity Sewers. Not a good draw. Play Ponder. Look at 3 lands, we'll shuffle. Force of Will. Play the Undercity Sewers. Keep the stock up. I think I have to leave back a Murktide Regent, or otherwise they get back the Gilded Drake and I just lose. They're going to go to 2. Interesting. Now they're going to combat. I will block the Barrowglyph with my smaller Murktide Regent. They're at 6. 3 mana here. They escape another Glyph. I'm okay with that. We'll begin by attacking with the Murktide Regent. They'll probably just block with the Brazen Borrower. And they do. We'll play stock up. We'll take Tamiyo and Brainstorm. Play the Tamiyo. They daze. I'll pay for the Tamiyo. Maybe I'm a fool for not using the Ancient Tomb, but this game, I feel like it's closer than it looks like, and I don't really want to use the Ancient Tomb. No blocks. I'll take 8 down to 11. They play Undercity Sewers, still 2 cards in their hand. They Surveil away Orcish Bowmasters. We draw another Force of Will. They have to block the Murktide Regent or else they lose, so I am going to attack with the Tamiyo and investigate. I'll draw off the Clue token, see if they try to respond with Orcish Bowmasters. They don't. Brainstorm. That resolved. We'll put back Looted Delta stock up, and I'll just pass with double Force of Will backup. I'm going to plus the Tamiyo as well, but I don't think I'm supposed to use the Ancient Tomb. I just don't want to risk losing. They have 3 cards in their hand. And we got there. They conceded. Nice. That was a pretty good match. So, I'm not sure how I feel about the deck. I like the idea of the deck in theory of being a combo deck that boards into Dimir Tempo, but it never felt as good in practice. Is that a skill issue on my part? It might be. I'm willing to admit that. But it never felt like I had enough of anything. Like, only 3 removal spells felt a little light. On top of that, they didn't hit large creatures. Consign to Memory doesn't work when you're bringing in your whole sideboard because, like, you can't bring in Consign to Memory versus Fair Blue. And that didn't feel particularly good to me. I just think that if you want to do this, you probably have to cut the Consign to Memories and maybe another Engineered Explosives and another removal spell. That would be my recommendation, I think. You could also try to fit another Sink into Stupor into the mana base somehow in order to get a thing that answers a large threat. That's at least my thought for now. Belgrim, thank you for the donation deck. I truly do appreciate your support. Everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.